Zach Gelb here in New York City on the Infinity Sports Network. Appreciate the time, and how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Well,
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. So your debut at Oregon, obviously we've seen you throughout the years at UCF and Oklahoma. How do you kind of look back at the performance up against Idaho with your offense?
Yeah, just you live and you learn. There's a lot to clean up and things that you definitely want to be better at, but also, you live to see another week and you're only as good as your, latest performance. So we're focused on that and coming out and compete.
Week one games are tricky, especially now with the transfer portal and NIL, right? And a team that has such big expectations like you guys have. No one's going to really play their best game, the first game of the season. But when you look at it from a chemistry standpoint, when you look at your offense, where's the chemistry at with this group as you guys gear up for a very good Boise State team coming up tomorrow evening?
Yeah, I think we've been very connected. We had a great week of practice. But like I said, it's a sport of performance and products on the field. And we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to competing. And, I think everyone's got something to prove and a chip on their shoulder. So, we're excited and night game at Autzen, that'll be fun.
You've been through this rodeo before, so I'm sure the previous experience helps when you did go from UCF to Oklahoma. For a quarterback, though, building that trust can be sometimes difficult because, yes, you're a leader of the team, but then you got to earn the trust of the guys that are already there. How did you kind of go about building trust with the Oregon team and the Oregon players that were there from a year ago when you transferred in?
Yeah, you got to build it off the field to be able to demand a lot on the field. And, I believe we did that, just with all the throwing sessions, with us just, going to dinner, just spending time that, wasn't mandatory within the building. That allowed us to, continue to be connected so that when we get on the field, we can demand a lot of each other, and that goes both ways. But, I think as a team, we did a really good job of it. And like I said, we got to go out and produce and find ways to win, to be explosive on offense and be a great complement to our defense.
Dillon Gabriel here with us. If it's your call, you're going out for dinner. What kind of food are you getting? What's the order looking like, Dillon Gabriel, if you guys doing a little team bonded and eating?
Ooh, great question. I'm always a fan of Mexican food. I think the chips and guac with some salsa, some tacos, steak, chicken, maybe some, toppings I think you can never go wrong with Mexican food, but this is a little dicey one, but I'd go sushi. Sushi's pretty good too.
Pre-game ritual, do you have a meal that you're always eating before the game, whether it's the night before or even a few hours before a game?
I don't, but I've recently gotten some acai bowls, maybe some fruits. I think, I'm a fan of peanut butter, so that kind of combo has been something I've been looking forward to recently.
We're big peanut butter fans on this show. There's no doubt about it. Dillon Gabriel here with us. So how do you describe being an Oregon Duck so far? We've seen you at UCF. We've seen you at Oklahoma. Now this is a new chapter. When I think Dillon Gabriel at Oregon, describe the experience so far.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I think it's been a switch up from the two I've, been a part of. But most importantly, I think just the new day and age of college football. I think it's been a unique time to be around the guys and, a bunch of different faces from different places, but you accept it and you just learn a lot about everyone. And I've appreciated that about football. But just being here at Oregon, it's been highly competitive. I've gotten better every single day just in learning the new scheme and also just trying to dive deeper into football. So I appreciate, that journey we've been on together, and it's been fun to say the least.
I love your head football coach in Dan Lanning. He just has a great personality. His energy is infectious. Just so far, take me back to the first time you talked to Dan and, right, this idea came about. You're going to be replacing Bo Nix. Just what the thought was of Dan initially and then how it's kind of paid off so far in your few months together.
Yeah, when we got on the phone, I just remember, the conversation being like, man, this is a guy who gets it, understands, kind of the new day and age of college football and how it works. And also the, up and coming generation of players, and just appreciated that from him, but also love, his intensity, but also able to, keep it light as well. I think that's a balance that's hard to find. And then just as a competitor, I know how much he loves to win. And when you have a head coach like that, it's super fun because practices are competitive, but also, when you get to game day, he lets you play and just wants to be a part of the journey. So it's been a fun 8 to 9 months. We've been grinding and just excited for, every week we walk out there. It's a blast.
When you look back at your time at Oklahoma and also UCF, what are the things that you take away from those experiences now when you head over to Oregon and now you're the head honcho at the quarterback position with the Ducks?
Yeah, just as a young guy trying to figure it out, I think when I was a freshman starting, I learned a lot about situational football or even just the game of college football and different, ways to be better. I think at a young age I was just playing, but, as I've gotten older and even going into Oklahoma, I think I flourished into the player I want to be and kind of learning that, way of life of, on and off the field. And then, I get here and it's like all the experiences I've had on and off the field has made me a better person, better man, and even a better football player. So just taking all those experiences and trying to look back and how I've, been able to get better and how I've continued, to try and get better is something that, I'll continue to look back on. And I think it's daily, how can you create a routine that sets you up for success, to prepare in a certain way, take care of your body, but also be the leader that you want to be. So just trying to look at it from all angles, and at times, it can be a lot from the outside and looking in. But I've played a ton of football and know that all that experience will help me in the long run.
I like a quarterback that embraces expectations for your program. We know what the standard is this year. It's to go win a national championship. For you individually, it's to go win a Heisman Trophy and be a finalist in New York. How about the national expectations and really you getting thrown under a microscope, even though you were in big places before, but now you're not only getting the team projection success, but also the individual success projections as well?
Yeah, I think it's all a part of it. I think that, how you manage it is extremely important. And I've been a guy who has never been talked about or talked about a bunch and everything in between. And I've continued to stay and maintain the same person that I am every single day. I think there's a job to be done, on the media side to, get a bunch of people in the stands and do what they need to do to keep this game running. But I'm also a guy that has been very focused on just being the best I can be every single day. And that's what it takes. So I appreciate the conversation, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is. But like I said, it's daily production. What have you done for me lately? And I'm focused on, putting my best effort on the field every single day.
Dillon Gabriel, for people after one game, right, because the hype was so high with Oregon after one game, now people are starting to doubt you because they thought the victory and the margin of victory would be bigger. If people are saying, I don't know what to expect now out of the Oregon offense, what would you say to people that are doubting now this team after one game in the season?
I respect opinions, and everyone's going to have their opinion on what they think. But like I said, you're only as good as your, latest production. And we got a game this weekend that I'm focused on, and that'll be, their opinion next. So it'll change week to week. And it's up to us to, put a product on the field that we're very proud of. And we're confident in our ability in playing ball. And there's a bunch of learning curves, that you kind of learn in this new day and age of college football. But you adjust, you create solutions. And like I said, you got a Saturday coming up. So making sure that you don't let another one bleed into the other.
We'll get to Saturday in just a second. Wrap it up with Dillon Gabriel, the quarterback of the Ducks of Oregon now. Going up against Boise State tomorrow night in a big game at 10 p.m. Eastern time. I want to ask you about Bo Nix. We saw what Bo did coming over from Auburn. The last 2 years were sensational at Oregon. Just what did you kind of see out of Bo from afar, and have you developed any relationship now with you guys both being part of the Oregon family? I know he's now off in the NFL starting for the Broncos.
Yeah, I think you just get very accustomed to how the quarterback position is being played, and you look at guys playing at a high level. And, when I saw, Oregon as a possibility, you're able to see, Bo play at a high level within this offense, and kind of a guy who's, played in a bunch of ball as well, but, did really well within this scheme and at this place. So you look at that and you're like, hey, if that's what it looks like when it's high powered, playing at a high level, then that's what you want to be a part of, and you see the potential in it. So, I take that as a cool thing to be a part of. And, I think quarterback play is very interesting enough and got a lot of respect for a lot of people who play it.
Yeah, who were some of your favorite quarterbacks growing up? Just wondering. Who's some guys that you enjoyed watching?
Yeah, I enjoyed, initially my love for football began with my dad playing, college football and at University of Hawaii. And, I would put in the VHS tapes and watch it up a little bit to kind of show the age of that. But also, Marcus Mariota, a guy I've always watched and kind of started it, for all the Hawaii quarterbacks. Interesting enough, even this week, Kellen Moore, just a lefty quarterback that has done it and played at a high level. But I think those are the three, I of course watched a bunch of. And then of course, Johnny Manziel was also a guy when I was younger. He was killing it. So a guy I may not necessarily play like, but shoot, he killed it when he was.
Well, just wondering, is it like surreal to you now that you're an Oregon Duck? You mentioned Mariota, the relationship and all of that. Is it like kind of crazy now you're on the same team where he won a Heisman Trophy for and dominated college football for all those years?
It is, as a youth, football player, a lot of teams were the Ducks. It'd be a certain city and the Ducks because of Marcus and his connection to Hawaii. But I think growing up all that time and then now, you obviously get the opportunity to play here at Oregon. It's special, and I don't ever, go a day without forgetting, how blessed I am and how grateful I am for the opportunity, but also all the work that I put in to be where I'm at. So never forget that, and then also know how special it is.
Well, you got a pro career right around the corner. I know you're focused on Oregon first, but for people that ask you what you can be as a NFL quarterback, what would your answer be, Dillon Gabriel?
As great as I want to. I think all the work that you put in and the experience you have, I'm a guy who's played a bunch of football, started as a freshman in high school all the way up to my senior year and doing the same in college. You look at the amount of snaps I've played, it should tell you a huge story about who I am. But more importantly, the position itself, you have to have experience. You have to, take snaps behind center to show what you really can do over the course of how many years. And I'm extremely confident in that, but also know that you can't do it alone. So on a bigger level, it's the leadership skills and being able to make people around you better and elevate one another. So I understand that fully and know that, it's a daily process that you got to take full advantage of.
We started the week talking to Boise State head coach Spencer Danielson. He had big praise for you. We end the week talking with you. Just what kind of stands out with the opponent that you have coming up tomorrow evening with the Boise State Broncos?
Yeah, I know a lot about him. Growing up, I was also, a fan of the program. And, I think you see all the big wins within, their time. But also just a program that is based on hard work and, dedication to the game of football. But I played them at UCF and, they got after us a little bit and just know the type of program they are. So we have our hands full and, us coming out, playing a great game and will be extremely important.
We know what your defense is capable of, and I don't think you go into a game saying, oh, we're going to try not to play a good brand of football, so I understand that. But with what Ashton Jeanty just did last week with 6 touchdowns and 267 yards, do you feel a little extra pressure to maybe help out your defense? Because if you could really hold on to the ball a long time and go on these long, methodical drives, it keeps Jeanty on the sidelines, and we know how special a running back he is.
Yeah, that dude's played his butt off, for a long time. Even last year, you see all the success he's had. But, I still think it comes down to executing at a high level, playing a really good, sound defense, but then us on offense, not beating ourselves and taking advantage of the explosive plays. And then, of course, being really good on third down and in the red area. And I don't want to sound, coaches speak, but, that's what it comes down to. And I think it's very important. But like I said, we have our hands full and we know that. And being able to, play a clean and aggressive game is going to be important.
Well, love the conversation today. Good luck coming up tomorrow evening, and we appreciate you doing this. Thank you.
Thank you so much.